I want to, first of all, I want to thank everybody who listens to the podcast. If you download it, you still support it. Even if you don't donate to the podcast, which has always been an option, some people just don't choose to take it for whatever reason. For whatever reason, my content isn't money worthy, or I'm not consistent enough for you to say, I'm going to give him some money because at least he did something. Whatever your reason is, whatever your reason is, just know that there is an option to donate to the podcast. You can Venmo me, or you can Cash App or PayPal. I don't give a fuck how you do it, but it is optional and always appreciate it. Now, with that being said, this week's podcast, I want people to understand that the whole purpose and what Just Killing Time has been from the beginning is I want to talk out shit that I want to figure out how to make funny, figure out why that was funny. Are we over? I don't know. Like I talk out stuff to try to figure out if I want to make a joke about it. Do I want to write about it? Do I want to shoot a short about it? Do I want to make a movie about it? Do I want to make a comic book out of it, an animation out of it? But the whole purpose of Killing Time, which has always been the thing, is talk shit out, man. Figure out why we do what we do, why we think what we think. I have a white cutout right on the floor to look at to remind me to stay on topic because I ramble. And this bitch is sliding, which is already an indication that this is going to go poorly because the thing that I'm supposed to be looking at is falling apart. Now, for those of you who listened to the podcast last week or saw the video, which I put a little bit of audio at the beginning of the podcast, if you download it, and it's kind of like bonus content or whatever, it's not that serious, but it's like I tell people, I talk a little bit. It's like talking in between commercials. The people at home don't get to see it, but the people in the audience get to see it. So the audio version of this, I do a little setup to let people know that it is a setup to do what I'm doing. Like there's two cameras looking at me. There's a fucking light looking at me. The mic's in. I got to mark myself. I have to fucking put myself in focus and make sure the cameras are running because the shit will stop and I won't know it. And then I'll be talking and have wasted a whole fucking 30 minutes just running off at the mouth and none of this shit got recorded. So periodically, like I'll go and check my camera or I'll check the audio to make sure that shit is rolling. I really hope I'm recording right now because I'll be mad as fuck. I stepped out of camera too. Stepped out of frame. So it's a lot that goes into it now because it used to be a thing where you could just do a podcast and the podcast was so people could listen to you when they're driving, commuting, sitting at a job or whatever, when they can't go see you. And then it became fucking audio, and then it became video, and now you got to have video for people to even give a fuck about your podcast because podcasts are nothing but tiny talk shows. It's talk radio with no censorship, no accountability. It's just wild, wild west of words just being thrown out there, and if you want to download it, fine. If you're into that, whatever that person is, fine. You shouldn't be ashamed of whatever you're into because of that person. It's just whatever the fuck you are into. Put a pin in that because I'm going to come back to it because there's a reason why I ended up going down that road. I know my brain is like, why don't we just continue to go down that road since we're already going down that road? But I got to build it up to that. Those that are watching this can see that I am performing in a onesie. I have a NASA onesie on that I wear out in public. I have two now. One is a onesie to sleep in and to meander around the house. Then there's one that I actually wear with a helmet. I walk out into the world because why not wear a fucking astronaut suit in a world where everybody has to wear a fucking mask and gloves and spray yourself and wash your hands all the fucking time because somebody went to Wuhan, China and fucked a bat. Now everybody in the world has fucking bat herpes because that's what's popping in the streets right now. Fucking bat herpes, right? So everybody got bat herpes. I'm trying to figure this shit out, people. I'm trying to figure out how to create content in a world where we cannot go out in the world and perform for people live in intimate setting like we used to do because the shit went off the rails and got bad real quick. So there's a process that I go through. I wear this onesie because I feel like if I have this onesie on, I tell myself that I'm in another world on another planet, talking freely in the galaxy without judgment, without people like getting mad at me because they don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'd rather talk to a green motherfucker with big ass eyes and long fingers and explain to this thing from another planet what is taking place on Earth, and everybody's okay with it. Why, when something happens, if you don't like it or you question it, you're retarded, you're an alien, you're stupid, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're a liberal, you're a fucking narcissist, you're a conspiracy theorist. Like, why, when everybody's going right and somebody says, why are we going right? Why don't we go left? Or why don't we go straight? Or why don't we just sit still and wait? Why does that person have to be crazy? Why does that person have to be fucked up? I'm mad at myself for allowing the media and society to trick me or make me feel like I'm wrong if I don't beat up on Kanye because Kanye has fucking crazy ideas. But are the ideas really crazy, or are they just ideas that people aren't comfortable with exploring? Are the ideas that people may say that's not rational? What the fuck is rational? Why do we have to? Why are there people in place in this world to decide what is right for every fucking body? That's our problem. We have chosen people. We have selected people to say, yo, we need you to make sure that we do what it is that we are supposed to do to be productive human beings in this life. Who the fuck says the people that we choose to tell us how to live are the fucking people that we should be trying to live like? Help me understand why the fuck I would want to be like Donald Trump. Tell me why the fuck would I want to be like George Bush or Bill Clinton or Obama or fucking Jesse Jackson or anybody. Why would you think I would want to be that type of person? Who the fuck would say, yo, everybody should want to be like that person? No, bitch. Because guess what? At one point, McDonald's was like working at Apple or working at fucking Google or working at Disney. It was like the top shelf shit. You think everybody yelling, yo, you should go work at fucking McDonald's? No, we look down at McDonald's. We shit on McDonald's now. You work at McDonald's, you a bitch. How many women really gonna give the guy who just gave her fries at the drive-thru some fucking pussy? Show me one. Show me one woman that make 6 figures, got 1 million followers on Instagram, got her own business. Every picture she take on Instagram is her spreading her butt cheeks so you can get an idea that maybe it don't stink in there, maybe it do stink in there. Maybe this fucking thong is gonna ride up into her ass and get sucked into the abyss of her butthole. We don't know, but every chick on Instagram takes a picture where they turn around and they take their fingers and they just clench them into their butt cheeks and they spread their ass all the way apart as if that's how people stand on a regular fucking basis. But you know what, women? Get your money because men are dummies. Get your money because men are dummies. There are men out there who have seen ass before, who have seen multiple asses before, but they still fucking can't believe that this woman took her fingernails that she had painted some outlandish color and jammed them in her ass cheeks and fucking pulled her ass apart like fucking Moses parting the Red Sea. And we just stare at it like, what the fuck is going on? How did she do that? This is what men do all day fucking long. All day fucking long. All day long. Morning, noon, and night. They sit on the internet and they go to Instagram and they go to Snapchat and they go to Vim. They go to motherfuckers probably trying to get pussy out of Venmo. Dudes is so thirsty. A dude would probably look at a girl's Venmo account, look at the picture, enlarge it, and be like, man, maybe if I give her $1, she'd be like, why'd you give me this $? Then that'll get a conversation started and I can get her DMs and because she bad. No, man. It's 90% of the relationships that we get into are because we saw somebody's profile pic. And I say profile pic, I'm talking about your face in the mall, your face driving by, your picture on social media. It's just a profile. They just looking at you. So when woman says to a guy, why do you want to talk to me? What makes you want to talk to me? Because I fucking saw you walking. You walk like a woman. You got an ass. You have the woman features. You're beautiful in the face. You walk with charisma. You got style. I'm hoping and praying that everything else is just as intact as the outside appearance. That's all you can hope for. Because no one's walking around like a fucking baseball card and your stats and your accomplishments are on the side of you. Like, oh, yeah, and she did this, and she did this, and she did this, and she did this. This is why you should probably draft her. Like, that's not happening. And this is the dumbest shit about relationships and dating. Why you want to talk to me? I saw something nice. I'm hoping it's just as nice on the inside. Go from there. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I struggle with so much because I don't want to be an outcast. Like, I don't want to be the outcast guy that questions everything and people are like, why are we hanging out with this guy? Because he's questioning every fucking thing. Like, why can't he just let some shit be? I just can't let some shit be. Some shit got to be talked about. Some shit has to be addressed. Like, when people think for themselves, you get beat up on. Kanye thought for himself. He get beat up on. It's his thoughts. It's his. They're his. They're his. Based upon whatever he been through. Whatever Kanye been through makes Kanye think the way Kanye thinks. His experiences, his trials, his tribulations, his ups, his downs, the lessons he's learned have equated to this thought. That's Kanye's original thought. That's his thought. Completely his thought. Everybody has. Alex Jones has his own thoughts. Joe Rogan has his own thoughts. Ta-Nehisi Coates has his own thoughts. Alice Walker has her own thoughts. Toni Morrison has her own thoughts. Everybody has their own thoughts. But then there's a time where we vote to decide if the person whose thoughts are being had are worth sharing with everybody. And who is the one that determines if what I'm saying is worth being shared with everybody else? It's something for everybody. You don't have to like it. There's a website outside. I know there's a website. It has to be a website. I haven't looked because I don't want to know. But I know there has to be a website out there where men can just go look at fucking women's feet all day. And there's probably guys sitting somewhere jerking the fuck off to looking at women's feet because that's their fetish. But then you find out that this person does this, and then you shame this person to the point where they either commit a crime out of anger, fall back into seclusion, kill themselves because they don't think they're worth being in society because of the thoughts that they fucking had. That goes back to me wanting to tell people that my podcast last week where I talked about death is just me having a thought about it. I'm not saying I want to kill myself. Have I thought about it? Man, nigga, look at me. Ask me, have I thought about it? You don't have to look at me to think, to answer yourself that. Look at me. I have thought about it recently. The fuck you talking about? I live in America. I live in a world where if I die tomorrow from a police officer shooting, there are people out there that will be like, well, he deserved it. Or they'll go like find out that I didn't return a book to the library on time and he deserved it. Or if I fucking was behind on my bills, well, he deserved it. Like, you will justify why somebody deserves to die based upon what you fucking think is right and wrong. And that's just bullshit. So all that to say, I've been watching a lot of documentaries. I've been spending a lot of time reading, a lot of reading. Shout out, Walter Mosley has a fucking masterclass now. Masterclass is the website where they have like celebrities and people that are fuck celebrity part. They have people who are at the top of their craft teach a class on this website. Walter Mosley's on there. David Sedaris is on there. Joyce Carol Oates is on that bitch. Everybody. Fucking Gordon Ramsay's on that bitch. David Mamet is on that bitch. Aaron Sorkin, Shonda Rhimes, Spike Lee. Everybody's on this bitch. And it's fucking amazing. And it's like 14, 15, 16, sometimes 20 classes. And they teach you how to do the thing that they know how to do, like as if you were taking a class. And the shit is fucking amazing. Walter Mosley is on there, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving it, and I'm fucking excited. Oh, I've been watching documentaries, and lately I've been watching this documentary on NXIVM, which was a sex cult ran by a guy named Keith Raniere. Now here's the problem. There's one on HBO called The Vow. I'm trying to figure out how to make this funny. I don't know how to make this funny. I'm just trying to figure out. So there's this group called NXIVM by this guy named Keith Raniere, and he had this chick named Nancy, which is like a fucking diabolical fucking villain. She's like Tommy Lee Jones, and a cafeteria worker had a fucking baby. This chick named Nancy, and then she had a daughter named Lauren, and then the chick Allison Mack that was on Smallville, she played Chloe. Smallville was actually a good show. They started this Keith guy started a cult, right? Now, here's the sad part, here's the crazy part. The reason why cults exist is because there are people out there that don't feel like they belong in society. And instead of we hugging people and saying, yo, I'm sorry you don't feel like you belong in society, what can we do to make you feel like you belong? We don't do that. We fucking tell people you stupid because you don't fit in, or you dumb because you don't fit in, or you inadequate because you don't fit in. Oh, this is why you don't fit in, because you can't do this, or you don't have that. We shame people, we berate people, we make people feel low because they don't feel loved or desired or welcomed or appreciated, or that they belong. And then they fucking go find other people that feel like that, and they fucking form a family, a group, a sponsor, a cult. That's what happens. When you tell people they don't belong, or they stupid because they can't fucking get a job, or they dumb because they don't like fucking American Idol because your simple ass like to see people fucking act like they really give a fuck about these people singing, and we vote for it every week like assholes because they want us to sit in front of a fucking TV and be programmed and monitored like Pablar's dog when we fucking react to certain shit. People are fucking stupid. We the dumbest fucking species. We over here killing animals and putting them in a fucking zoo. Man, listen, animals, if they could talk, I don't even think they need to talk. They just need to rebel. Animals need to rebel against humans the way black people need to rebel against racism, the way fucking the Brits need to rebel against the Queen. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial, but I am going to go back to the cults. I started watching The Crown on Netflix. It's all about, the Crown, the Queen Elizabeth, and how she became, and her husband, and their family, and their kids, and the shit with Diana getting killed. Yo, it's some dark, fucked up shit, but it all exists because it's folklore and fantasy and Lord of the Rings type of shit. Man, listen. If I have any British followings, I do not mean any disrespect, and don't do no come over here trying to fight people and send Paul Revere through the streets and shit yelling the British to come. I don't need all that trouble. I'm just trying to understand something. The Queen don't really have any power. Like, she don't make any they do not make political decisions. They don't decide on welfare. They don't decide on health care. They don't decide on signs and streets, and they do none of that. Nothing that Trump does the Queen do. Now, I'm not talking about like behavior. I'm talking about like power. They have a prime minister for that. Because I'm trying to make sense of it. I don't want anyone to think I'm making fun of this. I want to make sense of what it is that I'm hearing. I want to make sure that I'm not hearing this incorrectly. Now, there was a time where kings and queens really meant something. Like, people worshiped them, they threw coins at them, they kissed their robe and their crowns and their scepters, whatever the fuck it is. Dungeons and Dragons and Game of Thrones. Like, this shit really existed. Like, there was some white people that were in charge, and they wore outfits, and they told people, we run this, so y'all need to give us money or we gonna fuck y'all up. We got dragons, and we got like a Merlin, we got fucking Deuteronomy. Like, we got a lot of shit up here that if y'all don't fucking do what we say, we gonna fuck y'all up. Like, that used to be a time period when kings and queens really meant something. Knights, bishops, and lords and all that shit like really meant something. But now it's like electricity and cell phones and Grubhub. Like there are things out here that make that world that used to exist no longer exist. So are we role playing? Are we pretending that this still means something because it's what it always has been? Help me understand. Like 30 Rock. I love 30 Rock. Tina Fey, Alec Baldwin, Tracy Morgan. Like great fucking show. There's a situation on 30 Rock where Liz Lemon, Tina Fey's character, her brother is played by Andy Richter, and I believe he's stuck in 1985, right? His character, I believe, is stuck in 1985. If I'm wrong, I don't give a fuck. But I think his character is stuck in like 1985, and to keep his reality from like shattering into a million pieces, they pretend that it's 1985 to keep him from going crazy, right? Are we pretending that kings and queens and dragons and lords and bishops and knights and all that shit really exists right now to keep somebody's reality from fucking snapping? Or the people that have always believed that they should be ruled, keep them in check? It's like this is like a placeholder for, I guess, not dictatorship or whatever, but like, is it so people don't fucking rebel and start thinking for themselves? Like, I'm just trying to understand, because there are people like anybody under the Queen, I guess, or whatever. London, I know, their taxes, they pay crazy amount of fucking taxes. They also get free healthcare, but it's crazy amount of taxes, right? Like 50% of the people's check gone. They don't even see the bitch. Half the people in England have never seen the other half of their check because they don't get to see it. Like the money's gone, right? So you telling me that 50% of your check is taken from you to keep feeding into this thing that used to be a thing but no longer is relevant anymore, but we do it because what now? Are we not telling Andy Richter that it's 2020 because he can't handle the fact that it's 2020? Like, I'm trying to understand that there are people in this world that know this person doesn't have power, but they still give them money anyway because why? I'm not being racist, man. It's power. It's some white people shit. Because I don't believe black people in Nigeria and African people, because nobody's black overseas, just in America where we've been reduced to a fucking color. Everybody else knows where they're from, Senegal, or whatever the fuck you're from. You know where you're from. Nobody in America knows where the fuck they're from except for the people who are African know where they're from. Everybody else is black. You from Cleveland. So I don't want to believe that there are black people or Nigerian, African, Guyanese, whatever's over in London. These people buy into the Queen. Like, we believe in, those black people like, I believe in the Queen too. Like, I'm believing her. Like, I don't want to believe that. I can't believe that because black people don't want to be ruled. People of color don't want to be ruled by white people. No person of color wants to be, no black person wants a white boss. No black person really wants a white boss. No black person I know of wants a black boss. That I know wants a black boss. Now, there are black people out there that believe, well, you shouldn't have this type of power. It's always been this way. Give it to the white people. That's what it's always been. Candace Owens, fucking Ben Carson, Hodges brothers, all that bullshit. People that still believe that, no, we shouldn't have the same opportunities as white people because we're not white and we're silly to believe that we could be as good as them because white is right. There is people walking the planet right now that believe the way I just spoke about themselves. There are black people that don't believe they should have the opportunity to do things because they believe they're not worthy of it because that's what they've been taught and that's what's been programmed. And it's wrong to think outside the box. Which brings me to today's wrap up in that particular spiel. Back to the cults. Watching this cult thing for NXIVM. This guy named Keith Rainier. There's 2 documentaries. One is on HBO. It's called The Vow. And another one is on Stars, and it's called Seduced or some shit. This one, The Vow, focuses on this dude named Mark and this chick named Sarah, who got out of NXIVM because Mark's wife was like, "You need to get the fuck out of here," and he was like, "No, there's no way it's like this." And then Sarah, her husband, was like, "We getting the fuck out of here," and she's like, "No, this is what I'm supposed to be in." Nah, man, let me tell you about this crazy ass show called The Vow documentary, NXIVM sex scandal bullshit. Now, did it happen? Yes. Is it a cult? Man, that's up for you. That's up for you to decide what a cult is. Because people that will follow a motherfucker blindly and don't question that person's methods, and even though they know that some of this shit is immoral and wrong and not just, you still follow it anyway because either you believe in that person that much or you fear that person that much. That is like politics. That's people that's like, dick's hard for Trump. You ever seen a white guy defend Trump? Like, his dick is fucking like, oh, like hard. Like Pornhub hard, ejaculating all over the place. Just America juice, patriotism just coming out because he's fucking excited that this white man is in charge and he is doing white things to people of color so they can't like get ahead or whatever, right? That's how they talk. I'm not saying that's what Trump does, but that's how the white guy's energy is that I get into confrontations with about how dope they think Trump is. I don't give a fuck about Trump. I don't give a fuck about no president. I don't give a fuck about nobody in charge. I don't think there should be one person in charge. I don't think no one should devote their allegiance to just one person. Like, yo, you're that dude, I'm following you. The fuck are we? If you follow one person and believe what that one person says, that's a cult, fam. That's a cult. The Beehive, that's a cult. These women and people that like are stands for Beyonce. Poor Keri Hilson can't fucking tweet or post on Instagram without people putting a bee or some honey or a hive in her mentions anytime she does anything because she didn't agree with public opinion about Beyonce and spoke out against it. And they have not allowed this woman to resurrect at all. Keri Hilson is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. And I'm not like that dude that I'm going to do anything for looks. I did it one time in my life with a Gemini. Never do it again. Did it one time in my life for a fucking Gemini. I'll never do it again. I'll never put looks ever before anything else. Nothing. But Keri Hilson is fucking beautiful. I don't even know any Keri Hilson. I know some of them, but like, I don't know a whole verse. I don't know 3 lines, but I know who she is. And Keri Hilson is fine, right? But she can't put no music out or anything. She got fans. She got people to support her. And I'm not saying that she not putting music out because of Beyonce, because I don't want her to think that I think that way about her. It just is what it is. Plus, she dated Serge Ibaka. Ain't no guy dating her after Serge Ibaka. This fucking 6'9" dude from the Congo. What? 6'9" dude. Like Serge Ibaka looked like he used to fight people for his lunch at one point in life. Like he looked like he used to fight the people in Joel Embiid's village for food or something. Like he's just like a big dude that you can't say shit to him because cold piece of work. Serge Ibaka, shout out to Serge. I thought that motherfucker was dope when he played for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then they sent him to Orlando. I don't know what the fuck that was about. And then he went to Toronto and got a chip. Now I think he played for the Clippers. Whatever. I wish he had gone to fucking Miami. God, Serge Ibaka in Miami with Jimmy Butler. Woo! I'm telling you, boy. But yeah, Keri Hilson came out and she can't tweet or nothing. People come for her. It's fucked up. It's a fucked up world we live in. But all that to say, people join these cults and this Keith guy created this program to help people get better because people want to belong. That's what I was trying to say earlier. People want to belong. When you fucking exile people from society, they fucking go and try to find people that see how they see or think how they think or don't make them feel bad because they think a certain way, and they go off and they do shit together. And then society gets mad at those people because they found a loophole. They found some people that think like them and they doing their own thing over there. We don't like it. Send the feds in, send the CIA, send fucking spies in, crumble them from within. All civilizations are torn down from within. And they bring you down from within and they destroy whatever it is. Right or wrong, man, it is what the fuck it is. You got a person over 18 years old, legally over 18, can think for themselves, rationalize, comprehend. If you're 18, if you reach 18 and you have no comprehension skills and you don't understand, then your mom, your dad, the system, the school, somebody failed you, and blame them if you joined a cult and you didn't know what the fuck you were joining because you didn't know any fucking better. So this documentary comes out, and the girl Mark and Sarah tell their story with this lady named Catherine who was on a couple of episodes. They made it seem like she was the face of Dynasty. She was on that motherfucker for 50 episodes. That shit ran for like 9 years. She did 50 episodes out of 9 years. So they hyped it up and made it seem like she was Dynasty. I don't remember her on there. If it ain't Blake Carrington, she's the face of of both documentaries, actually, because the documentary they did on The Vow was about Mark and Sarah helping her get her daughter out of the cult, which they never showed her daughter in the Vow documentary. They never showed her mom talking to her. They don't have no footage of her and her mom together in that documentary. And this is why I believe that happened. So Mark and Sarah did their documentary. They sold it to HBO real quick because they're struggling to get content on. And then this girl, India, who was in the cult that belonged to Catherine's, that's Catherine's daughter. The funny part is Catherine took her daughter to the fucking meeting where she got introduced to the guy who would later be the guy that's the head of the cult. So she took her daughter there, not knowing that it was a sex cult. So anybody being mentioned like, well, she didn't know it was a cult. You're an enabler, bitch. You're an enabler. You are a fucking enabler. So everybody gonna say the mom didn't know it was a cult. She wouldn't have taken her daughter to a fucking cult if she had known it was a fucking cult. Gotcha. But she did, and that's what happened. And then her mom jumped out of the cult and was like, nah, I'm not going to be a part of that. And her daughter stayed, and for some reason, she couldn't get her daughter out. And then the daughter puts out a documentary. Bear in mind, the shit got raided and torn apart probably like 2018. The timeline on this shit is so fucking sketchy, but it's like 2018, let's say, everything just got torn down. Like, Keith Raniere just got sentenced to 120 years. The girl, India, put out a documentary by herself, and it's not good. It's not good at all. They shot the shit during the pandemic. They shot the documentary during the pandemic. The storyline of the shit is not correct. It's not clean. It's a money-making opportunity because what happens is, so NXIVM was like this they robbed Scientology. Shout out to Scientology for being an originator. They robbed some ideas from Scientology and added to their shit. And underneath it was this thing called the DOS, which is like this sex code. So Keith Raniere, the Vanguard or whatever, told people, look, man, y'all need to get branded with my initials, which also happened to be Allison and Mac's initials too in it shit. But long story short, they had to get branded and have sex with just Keith. And then the women that had to have sex with Keith, they had to go out and recruit women for Keith to have sex with. All these cults, every cult I've seen, all in with either people just giving up pussy and having sex with the leader, or talking people to killing themselves. Jim Jones, drinking the Kool-Aid, whatever, Jonestown shit, right? Like, it either ends with death or sex. All of it ends with death or sex, because it's like people join shit because they don't feel like they belong. There's one girl in the documentary, this motherfucker joined 2 cults. How the fuck you joined? She was in a cult when she was a kid, and then she just stumbled upon a fucking cult. Another one. This one, the next one. She's like Ann Coulter. You see what I did? And then cult. I don't have to explain myself to y'all. But yeah, she joined a cult twice. Like, how fucking lucky do you have to be to join a cult twice? But the point I'm making is People shit on these people. Wild Wild Country was another cult that I watched on Netflix. In Plain Sight, that's another one, which is kind of cultish and weird. It's just, you can't knock people for being easy to be taken advantage of when they simply trying to figure out how to fit in because they lonely as fuck. People are lonely as fuck out here. They just want to belong to something, any fucking thing, and they'll do whatever it is to fucking join. So let's not knock people for fucking joining a cult because you didn't want to play basketball with them, or you didn't want to fuck them, or you didn't want to invite them over to your house to eat, and they found people that would do all those things they wanted to do. They just had to give up some ass or drink some Kool-Aid. It's one of the two. They all in the same. Either you die or they be like, this motherfucker was fucking all these people. How you grown and not know that you probably shouldn't be giving your ass to some dude who says you shouldn't give your ass to nobody but me? I have never met anyone that powerful to make me say, you want me to do what? My finger? In there? Every day? For the rest of my life? No. I'm good. No, I don't want to put my finger there. Not for the rest of my life. Not only want to do it once. Come to think of it, I don't want to do it once. We all about acceptance, but we don't accept people when they don't like something. So you get mad that they won't accept it, and then you come out at them like, what the fuck? What are we doing? What the fuck is wrong with us? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'll bring it to an end because I think I rambled long enough. So podcast, this one, there's a video version of it I put on YouTube. I'm trying to figure out how to do Patreon. If anybody knows how to like set up Patreon, want to help me set up a Patreon so I can put the videos on there, like bonus content and bonus audio for this, hit me up. I'm all ears. I love the help. I love the support. If you like the podcast, donate to it. You can do it on Venmo or Cash App or whatever, PayPal. And then I got like, I'm really working on a bunch of things. So I'm still doing the EAT blog, and EAT stands for emotionally available today. I'm turning that into a podcast. Then I have another podcast that I'm working on. I got a couple of projects. I pitched the show. So I've been busy, and I don't mean to be inconsistent. Like, I don't know, man. Then I got Call of Duty Cold War, which I said I wasn't going to fucking get, but I got it. Cause what the fuck else is there to do when outside is closed and inside is contaminated everywhere else but your home? So I'm on Call of Duty. If anybody wants to play me, send me a gamer tag on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I like to play Call of Duty. I play hardcore. I do not play fucking core because I'm not a bitch. My name on Call of Duty is on Call of Duty Cold War is Belly of the Beast. That's right, bitches. The Belly of the Beast. I don't even have to explain what that means. You already know what time it is. So Call of Duty on PS5. I know you can cross-platform now, so if you got an Xbox, don't be like, well, I got an Xbox. Figure it out, bitch. If I offended anybody in London or anybody that's rude under the crown, I apologize. Was not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to make sure I understand what's going on. And for those who don't understand why I went down that rabbit hole, is because it's funny that even white people are okay with being oppressed by something they believe should be the way it should be, because that's how it has always been, which is the problem that we're having with racism in this world, in this country, most notably in America, where black people have always been under white people. And when we say this is not how it should be, and people say, but this is how it's always been, then we need to fucking explain why this is not a good idea and then go into detail. That's why I went down that rabbit hole, because I'm thinking if white people can see where maybe we shouldn't be enslaved, then they can see why black people shouldn't be enslaved, or brown people, or dark brown, or yellow, whatever the fuck color you are. If you're in a cell with some shackles on and there's a guy saying do this and you don't want to do it and you're being forced to do it, that's probably slavery. So that's why I brought it up. And if you don't understand that, and if you're offended by it, I don't know what to fucking tell you. I didn't say this shit was going to be fun. A lot of this is truly uncomfortable. Talk to y'all next week.